Hi folks, this is Don Meissner with the North Country Fishing Report. Recently Linda and I have spent a lot of time watching some of the outdoor shows on the Animal Planet that shows different states and the wildlife that's part of the resource that they have, and it's very similar to the very same demands that we have here. And one of the things we watched was one of the game wardens in Nevada. What they were trying to determine is the health and I guess population of a certain strain of bats. And it made me think that when I was a kid, and I wanted to pass this on, I wasn't afraid of very much, and I spent all my time, from the time I got home from school, riding home on the bus and looking at the weather and starting to daydream of what I was going to do when I changed my clothes and got back out there on the stream. And one of the things that each night, the fishing was always the best in the last couple of hours of the night. But there was one thing that came with those last couple of hours, is I would be out on the water and then the bats would emerge. And they weren't a declining species at this time when I was a kid. And these bats tormented me. At least they didn't do anything to me, but I thought for sure as I stood in the middle of the water casting my fly and I had a bat zoom by at 2 inches from my head, I pictured those things that were going to grab and land in my head or in my hair or something and start biting me. Now, of course, that isn't true, but we don't have that experience going on now. When I go out on the streams, I never have bats doing that, and I wish that I did, because I've come on here and talked about how bombarded I've been by black flies and horse flies and so forth when I go fishing, mosquitoes. And if only to have those bats flying by, biting them before they can get to me, that would be incredible. But we don't have that species anymore that's prevalent, and it shows how as the years go on, nothing stays the same, and how critical it is that we keep our environment at least attractive and healthy for some of the species that have always lived here. Until next time, folks, this is Don Meissner with the North Country Fishing Report.